All right, I think I have to go with the default, unfortunately. Okay, so hopefully there's not too much background noise for you guys, but I'm going to do that. So, okay, so I apologize. Let me go ahead and rewind a little bit. I got a little tech issues. But as you can tell from my background, if you watch Imperfect Marketing or anything along those lines on a regular basis, I am not in my office. I am traveling this week and next week. I am in Pennsylvania for the Great Grange Fair, which it's the 150th anniversary, and this is the last tenting and encampment fair that remains in the United States. It was actually covered in National Geographic back in the 80s. My husband's family has a tent and a camper. They actually move into the fair. The fair is like 20 minutes away from their house, so I do not rough it. So don't worry about me there. Oh, yay. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for letting me know. Um, so, all right, so let's go a little bit backwards. So last week we talked about the biggest mistake on LinkedIn, and that's really leaving everything on LinkedIn. It's posting more, it's just engaging, it's just doing what you do on LinkedIn. What we need to be doing right now is really talking about growing your email list because that's what's going to move the needle. Okay. So I also, before you guys could hear me, was reading an email from the Daily Carnage. I love the Daily Carnage. It is an email um, that I get on a regular basis, and they daily actually because it's the Daily Carnage. So Monday through Fridays they send emails, and today's email actually said, and it was a report from Marketing Examined, and they talked a little bit about how Wimbledon gained 1 million new followers in 14 days. So this July, Wimbledon posted 376 videos on TikTok and 667 posts on Instagram, the equivalent of 2 years worth of content for most brands. And I'd say maybe even more for some. They earned 1 million followers for their efforts. That's a lot of work, right? And while you could duplicate those efforts, that's a lot of work. And I don't necessarily want to be doing that much work when it comes to um, really what I'm working to do. Okay. So if you want to grow your business, email marketing is the way to do it. A lot of people laugh at me. A lot of people tell me email marketing is dead. A lot of people tell me that they don't want to send spam or junk or anything else. Yay, Kimberly. Okay. It's not. It is not junk. It is not junk. It is not spam. It is not any of those things. So um, I want you to know and understand that the best way to get clients out of LinkedIn is to get them off of LinkedIn and onto your email list. And we talked a little bit about that in the live last week. So let's talk a little bit about the basics, right? Why email marketing? Again, most people think it's old school, but it's far from dead. In fact, it's thriving. This year alone, I have personally made $30,000 from my email list in 6 months. $30,000 in 6 months because somebody saw my email. They might not have even been like, I'm not talking about necessarily selling out of the email 100% either. I'm talking about people just replying because I'm top of mind. And when they needed marketing help or marketing assistance, they knew to call me. No, I'm not making millions. I'm not trying to make millions off my email list yet. Maybe one day, but I'm trying to add value to my subscribers and I'm trying to engage with them on a regular basis. And so $30,000 when I did the math, that was pretty huge. Now, why does email work so well? Well, unlike social media, where you're at the mercy of those ever-changing algorithms, email lands directly in your subscribers' inboxes. It's personal, it's direct, and it's powerful. Studies show email marketing has an ROI of 4,200%. That is not a typo, 4,200%. That means for every dollar you invest in a system like Constant Contact, ConvertKit, things like that, you will get $42 of return on average. I can tell you that I get more than that on average. And a lot of people do. A lot of people don't get anything. But email allows you to build a deeper relationship, nurture trust, and convert prospects into client more effectively than any other platform, especially social media. But I'm not bad mouthing social media. Social media is amazing. It is an amazing tool. It is one of those things that I think are just unbeatable when it comes to reach and getting new people and getting your views and your thoughts out there. But it cannot beat email marketing. Not, I used to say nothing could beat email marketing, but I think SMS texting is catching up. But again, if you have people's emails, you can ask them to get texts. Like there's ways to engage with people, get more information, find out more about them, and just really truly build a relationship. Okay. So how do you get those LinkedIn connections off of LinkedIn onto our email list? Well, the answer to that is a lead magnet. And that's basically a freebie that you're offering in exchange for someone's email address. They are paying for your value with their email address. Think of it really as a party favor, right? You could do something like a quick start guide or a checklist. You could do a 3-part video series. There are a ton of different types of lead magnets that you can do. And the thing to remember is you probably are discounting what you know so well and what you do on a regular basis. And that's like the tricky piece. Okay. So, how do you really create a killer lead magnet? Well, you identify a specific problem that your ideal clients have. What keeps them up at night? That's what you want to identify. Then you want to create a solution that's valuable and actionable. So, for instance, if somebody wanted to start a podcast, I have a podcast checklist. There are things people don't know about starting a podcast that I either A, had to learn the hard way, or B, just totally forgot about. And so I created a checklist for people starting a podcast. And one of those items on that checklist is to, one, create a trailer and then upload the trailer to all of the directory sites at least 2 weeks before your podcast goes live. Why? Because unlike this live that I'm doing in StreamYard straight to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, the directories need to be primed. So you need to upload your content, and it can take up to 2 weeks to get listed. And you can't get listed unless you have content. So building that trailer is important. And then I recommend that depending on how often that you are releasing episodes, that you have 4 to 6 episodes ready to go. Ideally, you'd want 6 to 8 weeks of content for that podcast. And that's all covered in my checklist, right? So you really want to go step by step by step. Here you can see in my headline down below, it says kendracorman.com/leverage LinkedIn. And that has some of the things that I'm covering in each of my lives throughout the month of August here about how to leverage LinkedIn to get more clients. So you want to do something that's going to be valuable, that's going to solve that problem that they have, that question that they're asking in an easy and actionable way. And then, of course, visually appealing and easy to consume. One page is fine. You don't have to be doing an ebook that's 45 pages long or anything like that. So, Kimberly's asking, what's the best way to collect email addresses from your LinkedIn followers? Well, the lead magnet is really the best way to do that. And depending on what email marketing system you're using, if it's Constant Contact or ConvertKit, either one of those really does work well. And they have landing pages that you can utilize to get that information. It'll automatically be added to a list, and then they'll go from there. Okay. Oh, Canva. How can so Kimberly's asking, how can Canva help attract clients from LinkedIn? Very much so. I use Canva all the time, daily. One for my graphics, if I'm doing a post or a quote post, things like that, makes it easy. And then Canva is where you create that visually appealing lead magnet, right? And so you're able to really create better content. Um, I will actually be doing maybe talking about how to create reels in Canva. I can't remember if it's next week or the week after on one of those when we're talking about marketing your lead magnet out there and all the different ways you can promote it. But I will tell you that, yeah, Canva is an amazing tool that can help you get people really off of the socials and onto your email list. Okay, so now let's talk about promoting your lead magnet. So when you're promoting your lead magnet on LinkedIn, and we'll go into more detail about this next week, you don't just post about it. Okay. People engage with stories. They want to hear the stories. You want to share a personal experience or client success story, something along those lines that highlights the value of your lead magnet and shows it in use. Or you don't have to say, hey, Shirley downloaded my lead magnet and then she did X, Y, and Z. It doesn't have to be that direct. It's got to be when I started my podcast the first time, and you've been watching me for any amount of time, you are aware that I did not have um, good success with that first podcast because I did basically everything you could do wrong. And I gave up. I had pod fade and totally gave up on that podcast. So that's the story you can tell. And then you can say, hey, you know what? So I developed this checklist. You can go ahead and grab it and learn more about it there. That's really where those stories come in, right? You give that personal example, that success story, that piece of information that people are looking for. And then again, engaging visuals, compelling headlines that grab attention with a strong call to action that drives them to your URL. So again, in this case, it's kendraforman.com/leverage LinkedIn for the download that goes with this one. But that's what's important. Now, you could say something like, and these are going to be all made up, but we could do something along the lines of, I used to struggle with converting LinkedIn connections into clients until I developed this strategy. Now it's the foundation of my $30,000 success. You want to know more? Grab my free guide. So you can be direct if you want to, but you can do polls on LinkedIn or Instagram or, whatever your platform is. What's your biggest challenge in converting LinkedIn connections into clients? Maybe it's finding the right leads, getting responses to messages, building trust, closing the deal. And then you follow up on those poll results by offering your lead magnet as a solution to some of those common challenges in the DMs. It's not a trick. It's actually going to help you better understand your audience, and it gives people an opportunity to tell you what they're really struggling with. And that's part of the struggle and the opportunity there. Okay, so then you can, again, of course, ask questions to spark conversations, which is always good. You want to post questions that encourage your audience to share their struggles or their thoughts, like what's the biggest hurdle you face? Let's discuss in the comments. If you want to do that on LinkedIn, I find that it's really good to, again, bring in an example and say, my friend, since Kimberly's tuned in, my friend Kimberly, hey, would you weigh in on what you think? Or tag a few people and ask them specifically to answer and share their expertise. That's where you start to get engagement on that post, which will elevate it. And you can go ahead and add your lead magnet link in the comments, and you can pin it to the top and a bunch of different things. Now, one of the things you want to make sure that you're doing is you're engaging with everyone who comments on your posts or responds to your polls. This isn't just going to boost the visibility of your post, but it's going to build relationships because you're not asking them for anything, right? When they share their challenges, respond thoughtfully. Mention how your lead magnet can help them, which I think is a really good value. The goal is to create interest and drive traffic to your landing page while building a connection with your audience, not to sell them, not to try and bait and switch or anything like that. With polls, questions, and posts like this, you're not just marketing your lead magnet, you're actually understanding your audience's needs better. So let's talk a little bit about your landing page and what that is, because this is where you're going to direct them when they get off LinkedIn. It's where people sign up for your lead magnet. So it just needs to be clean, clear, and focused. Depending on how complex your idea is, you don't really need much. You just need a headline. You want to talk like 3 bullet points about the benefits that they'll get from downloading your guide and why they should sign up. An easy to use email sign up form. I usually recommend just first name and email address because the less you ask for, the better. Now, of course, if you have some like humongous guide and that's what your audience wants, then okay, you can ask more questions, but you will have less people filling out the form. So it really depends on how you want to screen them. If you really want them to take effort to fill out the form, then go ahead and ask more questions. But just note that your conversion rates will be a little bit lower than it should be. Don't be afraid to use testimonials to let other people, a quote from someone that's used it or looked at it, or a friend of mine, Chris Liebau, has for Action and Ease Coaching, she's got like a one-to-one guide on how to basically take something that is not necessarily as productive as it should be with your team members, so those one-to-one meetings, and makes them more productive. So adding, how the productivity goes up or something along those lines after someone looks at the lead magnet is always a really great way to do it. And then, of course, you want to make sure that it's optimized for mobile, since most people will access it on their phone. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that people make in doing it, is they want this really pretty, glorious landing page, and then you look at it on mobile and it's all like these pictures. So it ends up really shrinking everything down to a point where it's not even legible. So the process of what you do, and we'll go into this in more detail again in another one of my lives. You've got people signing up, right? So we identified that we're not getting business off of LinkedIn. So we need to get people off of LinkedIn to build relationships with them and get business from them. So we're moving them onto our lead magnet, or this with our lead magnet. We have a sign up form and they sign up, right? They ask for copies of it. You want to welcome them to your list. This is essential. You don't want people to forget, and we are in a world of instant gratification. I do want to start with the fact that the welcome email is what delivers on your promise, okay? This sets the tone for your relationship, and it can significantly impact whether they stay engaged or tune out or unsubscribe, which is worse. So we'll talk a little bit about the welcome email. But the one thing I do want to mention is that the lead magnet should be delivered through email. They wanted it enough that they gave you their name and email address. That's what's really important here, because since they went ahead and did that, they're going to go look for it, right? So if it ends up in their junk or their spam, they're going to go ahead and move it to their inbox. They're going to take an action with it. Except for the test emails that I do every now and again, my welcome emails have a 100% open rate. Everybody who gets it opens it because they want what's in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed up for it to begin with. So start with a warm greeting on it. Like, hey, first name. That's why you asked for their first name. Welcome. Or something like, here it is. As promised, here's your free guide to turning LinkedIn connections into paying clients, and give them the link. Again, we want them to take action to get used to finding your emails. And then go ahead and set expectations for future emails if you would like. Let them know how often they'll hear from you and what kind of value you're going to be sending. It's going to, again, I'll be, you could say something like, over the next few weeks, I'll be sharing more tips, insights, and strategies to help you grow your business. You can expect to hear from me every Monday with valuable content straight to your inbox. I send Thursdays, so that's not me. But again, it's just a different way of communicating what you have. And then go ahead and encourage further engagement by including a call to action. This could be following you on social media, replying with their biggest challenge, joining your next live. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest challenge you're facing with LinkedIn? Hit reply and let me know. Stuff like that. So personalize your email to make each subscriber feel special, provide immediate value with your lead magnet, and hint at the value in future emails. You want to outline the next steps they should take, whether it's engaging with you or looking out for future emails. That's the value of the new subscriber welcome email. It can be 1, it can be 3, it can be 5. Odd numbers usually work better than even numbers. It just depends on how often you're sending and how much you want to nurture them. Speaking of nurturing, building your email list is really just the beginning. The real work is in nurturing those relationships and building them. If you send regular, consistent, value-packed emails, then they're going to know, like, and trust you more, and you're going to stay top of mind. So feel free to mix up your content, share tips, personal stories, exclusive offers. You want to use segmentation to go ahead and tailor your messages to different groups within your list, and always encourage replies and interactions. Really, what you're trying to do is get your audience engaged and providing ongoing value on a regular basis. One of the things that I did recently has got 50 replies to an email because I told a story and it was valuable. And that's one of those important pieces. Okay, next Tuesday, I'm going to be talking even more about how to promote your lead magnet and things like that. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. And then I'm going to go ahead here. So can you collect email addresses in the poll? So unfortunately not. You can see who responded to the poll, Kimberly, if you're doing polls on LinkedIn, or I think you can do polls on Instagram and Facebook too. But when you're doing those polls, you're not going to get their email address. They're going to see the results when they get the poll. You're going to see who responded. You might already have their email address, but you want them to opt into those email marketing notices from you, because that's usually the best way to do it. And then my challenge, Kimberly says, my challenge has been to gain attraction on my LinkedIn company page. Yeah. So you're doing it the right way. Your personal page will outshine the business page all day, every day. People follow people on LinkedIn, not companies. So your company page is sort of just a support function for showing that you're real. So way back in the day, websites let people know that they were real. You can be a lot more salesy on your company page and let people know about that. You can definitely share some of that content. You can tag it on there regularly. You can include that type of information in your headline on your personal page. I have not, and nobody that I follow has found a way around the fact that people are going to engage more with your personal page than your company page. It's just sort of the way that LinkedIn works, unfortunately. If growing your followers is important on your company page, my friend Brenda Meller, I think you go to mellermarketing.com/checklists, she will have definitely for you a checklist that you can leverage on how to fix up your company page. One of the things, though, that she does share all the time is every month. So at the beginning of every month, you get a certain number of credits to invite people to follow your company page. So invite people to follow your company page. Those credits reset every month. So make sure that you're resetting them every month and go ahead and invite all of your connections. Start with the people that you think are going to engage with it, and then you can start going through there. It won't let you send multiple invites to people. So you're safe there. You're not going to be like bombarding them every month with an invite to like your company page, but get those followers up. In the posts, tag yourself. You've got your company, right? So go ahead and tag yourself in the posts that the company is putting on. Or if you know, Kimberly, I know you have like some training sessions and things like that. So if you've got a training session that some people come to, post a picture of it and tag some of the people in it. That's going to increase the visibility because then they're going to like, comment, or share. And that's a really key piece of promoting it, and promoting your company page. Anybody else have any other questions? LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of them are hugely powerful platforms. And if you're using them correctly, you can really ramp up your business. And again, using them correctly means getting those connections off of those platforms where you can control it. The big phrase that's been around for years that I've been using, I think since like 2020, is social media is rented land. You own email marketing. And so you really want to be leveraging emails and contacts that you own, not just your 3,000 subscribers or followers that you have on LinkedIn, or 500 plus, or whatever it's showing, right? You want to make sure that you're leveraging the networks for what they're meant to do. They're the new TV commercials, right? They are replacing the need for a lot of that stuff. And so that's what's going to get you your reach, and then you have them take action. You don't have to do it every day, where you're posting and asking them to sign up for a lead magnet. I put my lead magnets, or like these lives I'm putting in right now, in my automated away message, because I have the professional version of LinkedIn. So those are the types of things that you can do to really try and get people off of LinkedIn. All right. So, thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know we have quite a few lurkers out there. We got over 92 people that have tuned in, and I really appreciate you all joining. I hope that this was valuable for you. I will be live again, 10 a.m. Eastern time next Tuesday, which will be August 20th. And then I will also, same time, same place, on August 27th. And August 27th, I will be back in my office. So hopefully the audio quality will be significantly better for you guys. And maybe I can fix it before next week. All right. So again, just to summarize the important pieces of what we have here and what we've got going on. Again, LinkedIn is great. Facebook, Instagram, they're great for reach. Job is to get the emails onto the email list. Best way to do that is a lead magnet, again, which can just be a one-page checklist. It can be a 3 to 5 step how-to guide. It doesn't have to be overly complex. There is a ton of information that you have and that you know that can add value to those relationships. And then engage with people on the social media to get them to want to download your free guide and be so impressed that they want to hear from you on a regular basis. Again, next week we'll be talking a lot more on how to promote your lead magnet to get visibility to it in some easier ways. Because I know that that's one of the things I think a lot of people struggle with is, how do I get it out there? I do use ads, or I supplement with ads to get my free stuff out there, but you don't have to. And when I say ads, like I'm talking $5 to $10 a day, maybe, on the high end when I'm going to launch, and that's it. So we'll talk a little bit about the paid and non-paid ways that you can go ahead and engage with people to help market your lead magnet next week. I hope to see you then. And until next time, have a great rest of your day. I think I've got